Hello and welcome back to ALH Success Lane's Wellness and Lifestyle channel. In today's wellness edition, I am going to sit down with my daughter and we are going to have a chit chat about many different things of interest to her and to me. So sit back, relax, and if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, and comment. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching. Okay, so this is my daughter, Chanel. Chanel, tell them a little about yourself.
I am 25 years old. I just turned 25 in February, so I'm a new, fully minted adult. I work a 9 to 5. I am ridiculously single. I like long walks on the beach, puppies, and the color yellow.
Okay, so Chanel, my daughter was clinically classified as gifted and talented. So she was at the top of her school as it relates to her academic testing and her intellectual, what would we say, capacity. So she was gifted and talented. So as a result, Chanel went to college at the age of 16. After college, Chanel went to graduate school and she has her master's degree in forensic psychology. Okay, Chanel, so the first thing we're going to talk about, and this is something I've heard other young 20-somethings talk about, and that is friendships. How is it meeting friends and establishing friendships?
Meeting friends?
Yes.
What's that? No, so trying to maintain and start new friendships as a 20-something is you meet someone wherever, coffee shop, pop-up shop. Most people meet at bars. I personally don't drink, so you'll never find me there. But you'll meet someone and you'll be like, oh, you're amazing. What? We should hang out sometime. When are you free? They are free Tuesday, Thursday. You are free Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And thus, that is the beginning and end of a wonderful friendship. Now, most of my friends and we communicate mainly through online channels. So I'm always on my phone. But I meet a lot of great people, a lot of amazing people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, various internet channels. And it's great because it's an easy way to connect with people that have shared interests, but it's terrible because you'll really vibe with someone and then you find out they live in Narnia. So it's a mixed bag. Maintaining friendships is easy. Meeting people is difficult and expensive, but worth it because you can create some incredibly genuine bonds through the internet.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that social media is very important to your age group.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all we've got. It's all we've got.
Okay, so you heard it there from Chanel on friendships. So Chanel, something I've heard a lot from, what are you? The 20s. What is that? The millennials? No.
No, I'm a millennial.
Millennials.
Millennial is from 1994, so I'm the cutoff to 1980. Okay. So the oldest millennials are in their late 30s. I don't know why people don't realize that. We're adults. We're actual adults now.
Okay, so something I've heard is you guys don't have any money. So
we don't.
Share a little with our YouTube family about your finances and buying a home and saving and things of that nature.
Gladly. So without going into a long-winded rant, one thing that millennials have to deal with that other generations haven't had to deal with and won't have to deal with is student loan debt. So we have, I think, what is it, trillions of dollars in student loan debt that we have to pay off. And that makes doing other financial things difficult. with that being said, it's also very difficult for others. I'm incredibly lucky that I have a full-time job with benefits, because that is rare. I have a lot of friends that graduated and have to piece together various jobs like working retail or being a bartender, or things that don't offer any type of security or any benefits for that matter, to just make ends meet, because a lot of entry-level positions are, one, requiring way more work history or work experience than we could physically have. Like, an entry-level position should not be asking for 10 years of experience. That's just not realistic.
Right.
Or two, it's an entry-level position and it's only paying $20K a year, and that covers about a third of our bills, because on top of rising housing costs, I think San Francisco just hit a nationwide high of the average rent being $3,900. In our area, it's not that bad, but it's still pretty high. In addition to trying to, you know, eat, we have to eat. Doing things like buying a house, having children, paying for a wedding just don't seem as important when you can't pay to have your basic needs met. So yeah, we're all broke.
Okay, you heard it again from
all
Chanel. Okay, so the next segment of this interview with my daughter is going to talk about the dynamics of the mother-daughter relationships. Now, I'll start. Chanel, growing up, was, every mom thinks their child is perfect, but she was perfect. She never gave me any back talk or sassiness. She did as expected. Yeah, we're gonna get to later though. She did as expected. She was just a really good child. However, I must say, as she got to be about the age of 18, I had to grow up and realize that she was no longer that little child, but she was an adult with her own opinions and ideologies and things of that nature. So our relationship had to change. Chanel, what would you say?
I think it's innate in most parents to continue to parent even after their child grows into an adult. Like, I will always be your daughter. I will always be, a part of you, but I will not always be a kid.
Yes.
And that was a very, I won't say, it's like a little bit of turbulence in our relationship. I'll describe it as turbulence. Because as I started going through college, became more active in the world around me, I picked up a bunch of different opinions and ideas, and I know my mother makes me seem like I was the most perfect angel growing up, but I had a mouth.
To me, she was.
That's great. I appreciate that. I had a mouth. I was very loud and very opinionated.
She was very informed. She read a lot. Her most favorite thing to do in the world was to read and to research and to understand. So at times, Chanel knew more than, I hate to say it, but the teachers.
I did. I did. It was fine.
It was a bit challenging, and I know you parents out there who may have gifted children, you know how that is. She would always ask why.
Teachers did not like that. They wanted me to shut up. But so it was fine, and my mother had no problem defending me and my honor and my intelligence and my integrity to these teachers who were very wrong. But when I started kind of questioning why of her, that's when it was just kind of like, oh, excuse me? I am your mother. And I'm like, that worked when I was 6, 7, and I didn't know any better, but now I'm 22, and I'm like, okay, why?
Right.
I know you're my mother. That's nice.
So we had to come to a place of understanding. And it didn't take 2 days. It took
like
some
40
time
days.
because I had to pull back and to reevaluate my role as a mother to Chanel. And I had to respect her. I mean, I raised her to have a voice, to express her opinions respectfully. And I had to give her that same understanding when it came to how she interacted with me. Now, I say this respectfully. So, we've come to that understanding, and I value her opinion on things just as she values my opinion. But I look at her as an adult and not a child.
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm doing 90% of the time. And the first thing I do is, Mom, should I call off work today? Keep in mind, there's 5 feet of snow on the ground. I go to my mother for everything, but no, we definitely had to reevaluate and communicate effectively. We had to learn how to communicate with one another with a new dynamic.
So for you moms out there, you cannot have the same relationship with your adult children, right? So you have to really pull back at a point, and I think I said 18, you said it was about
like 20.
Okay, but at some point, you're going to have to change the dynamics of that communication. And it's built on mutual respect. And like I said, it may not happen overnight, but you have to be willing to listen to what they're saying and to respectfully change the dynamics of that mother-daughter relationship. Right? Okay, Chanel, so we're going to talk about something that is often discussed, and that is dating as a 20-something. How is it?
Terrible. I wish I could say I was kidding, but I'm not. Dating is an absolute nightmare. All men are children. No, that's a blanket stereotype. A lot of men are children. I find that men my age, specifically 23 to 25, they don't want to date, want to try and hook up with as many women as they can. Then you get a little bit older, you get to like the 27 to 30-year-olds, and they're not running around as fast. You know, their bones have slowed them down, but there's a huge fear of commitment, but there's also the acknowledgement that it's not that pressing. I've had one of my best friends is a 27-year-old man, and his perspective on dating is a lot different than mine because he feels like, why rush? There's so many good women out there. I have absolutely nothing to worry about. I can just mosey on through and take my time. Meanwhile, and let me note that the reason why he can say this is because he's one of the few men that like have their lives relatively together versus, you know, for women, we're trying to all date there's about thousands of us trying to date the same 3 guys because there are only 3 guys that have a job, have a car, and bathe regularly.
So when you say us, do you mean other educated, successful women in their 20s like you? Is that what you mean by us?
For the most part, yeah.
Ah.
It's very difficult. There's that whole, like, what do you bring to the table conversation that floats around through social media every so often. And for women, it's like, on paper, we all look great. I know so many women that have degrees, they have their own businesses. I'm friends with some amazing entrepreneurs and moguls. They are, you know, successful in their own right. They're stable. Meanwhile, I can't say the same for the guys I know.
So, Chanel, do you think that women your age should date potential, or men who have potential, or should the men have what you have or more?
My issue with dating potential is I feel that everyone has potential, but that doesn't mean that they're going to use it. So dating potential always has a risk. It always comes with the risk of either this person never reaching their full potential or this person reaching their full potential after, you know, you've inspired and supported them, and then they dump you and go date someone else, which happens often. They think they can now trade up and in for someone who matches the effort that you put into them. So I am all about dating someone who is on my level or higher, because I don't want to raise anyone's child.
Okay, so you heard it here again from Chanel. This can be a whole video. So thank you, Chanel.
A whole video. We'll be back.
So Chanel, I know we talked a little about financial, and we know that you have a corporate job where you are doing, you know, some really good things. You have great benefits. Tell me about your new venture.
I'll give a little bit of background. Apparently I'm funny. People laugh at the things that come out of my mouth. I don't know why, but they do. And a thing I've heard throughout my entire life is you should put that on a shirt. People have also told me I should start a comedy show, but we'll see where that goes. So I listened. I started an urban streetwear line. It's called Slander Chat, and it's full of witty phrases that I say, cute little quips and one-liners that I put on a shirt. And the shirt I'm wearing, my little crop hoodie right now, is the starting line from my brand. It's called You're Not That Fine. And the story behind that is I don't believe that there's anyone attractive enough to disrespect you. Which is to say that, as we've talked about with dating, these guys out here, they know that a lot of women they know that they're in high demand. They know that, supply and demand? They are in low supply, thus high demand. And a lot of them let that get to their heads. Their egos get a little bit too big. And they think that just because they're attractive, just because, you know, they have a good job, just because their 401k is a little bit poppin', just because they have a 401k, they can get disrespectful. They can be rude, and they can treat you in a way that you don't deserve. So with all of that being said, I think we need to remind them that you're not that fine.
So that is what her shirt says. You're not that fine.
Because you're not.
So thank you so much for tuning in to ALH Success Lines Wellness and the Lifestyle Channel. And that concludes the interview with my daughter. So as I said, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, comment, especially on some of the things that Chanel spoke about in this interview. And thanks so much for watching.